So please, answer. What have we done to deserve this fate?
Hey everyone, so I'll let you know right now, this video is not going to be scripted. I might be looking down a lot because I have notes because I want to cover as much as possible, and it's 5 in the morning and I don't really like doing these kind of drama videos, so yeah, it's a video I kind of didn't want to have to do, but I feel like the situation's gotten so ridiculous that pretty much any YouTuber with a voice is trying to get their voice heard so we can hopefully move on from this crazy point and the community can stop tearing itself apart, and hopefully Games Workshop can relapse and, undo the mess they've made because they done fucked up. But, yeah, you guys know I'm really into Warhammer. I got into it about 3 years ago, and it's literally been such a great series. During the time that 343 took over Halo, which was another series I was really into, after Halo 4 and 5 and the launch of MCC and the huge content drought with Halo Infinite, I was kind of starting to get out of Halo, but I needed a series to really, pick me up, that get excited for, daily. And Warhammer was there to catch me, and it's been really great, but now we're at a point where I kind of have to choose between sort of leaving the series behind until GW, realizes their mistake, which could be never and could ultimately permanently damage this already niche hobby, or stick with it because of all the joy it's brought me. And it's a decision I don't want to have to make, but I guess I have to. And luckily Halo's on a good again, so whereas Warhammer carried me through the dark days of Halo, now Halo's kind of making a comeback and it's carrying me through the dark days of Warhammer, which is kind of ironic and poetic. But a lot of you are probably wondering what is even going on. I know some of you don't watch me just for my Warhammer stuff, and you're probably out of the loop on what all the controversy is about, or even who Games Workshop is. So before I share my thoughts on this whole thing and sort of talk about what I think I and other people should do, let's first give you guys some context. So, Warhammer 40,000 is a sci-fi / kind of fantasy series, and Games Workshop is the company who makes that. They make the miniatures, they have studios make games, there's a ridiculous amount of books. If you think Halo has deep lore, but no, I got into Warhammer because I knew about the Space Marine game, and maybe I've seen the Games Workshop logo a couple times, but I never really knew about the series until Astartes came out. Now, there were fan films before that. You have the amazing text-to-speech series, you had all these SFM fan animations, but Astartes was the first Hollywood-level quality fan film that came out, and it blew everyone away, and almost nobody knew what Warhammer was who reacted to it, and yet it sparked so much interest in a lot of people, including myself. Then I started watching stuff like SODAZ's videos. I saw Hell's Reach, which got me into the Black Templars. And then channels like Node, I watched play the tabletop, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to get into these minis, and I've enjoyed it. This is the recent motto I'm working on. If it doesn't come out well in the video, I'll just post a picture somewhere. But yeah, it's my Terminator. I just love actually building and painting these models and then playing the game with them. I think it's really fun. You get to make them in your own way, and it's really relaxing and inspires a lot of creativity. And yeah, over these last 3 years, I've gotten really into the hobby. And we were kind of going through a golden age with Warhammer because almost every other week you had a new fan film from either Astartes, SODAZ. You had the Death of Hope series by what was his name? Mark Lewis Spark. You had Exodites. You had Codex. You had Primaris Black Templar. You had channels like AbsolutelyNothing. I mean, I could go on, but everyone was making all these amazing animations, and people were wondering, GW, why aren't you picking these people up? They're doing such an amazing job. And, it's like that saying, careful what you wish for. Now, this isn't the first time Games Workshop has picked up animators. Richard Boylan, who worked on Hell's Reach, he got picked up, and now he's doing the Angels of Death series for Warhammer Plus. And I actually am excited for that. And the funny thing is, when he got picked up, he was allowed to keep his Hell's Reach series on his channel, even though that series is literally an adaptation of an existing, novel. So, if GW just did that, if that was all there was to this, there would be no controversy, everyone would be happy. But, that's not the kind of world we live in. And of course, there's always a catch. So basically, when the announcement first came that Astartes, Exodites, Codex, and Primaris Black Templar got picked up, apparently there were some requirements. All of them took down all their videos for their channels, and whereas people were originally happy, once seeing that, people were kind of pissed. Also, Astartes' videos were re-uploaded onto the Warhammer community site, which that on itself, not many people go to that site, and the people who do go are already established fans, so you're not really going to get many new fans that way. And of course, because of copyright reasons, they had to change some of the music. I mean, it's easy for people to look over that for a small YouTuber, but for a big company, they could get sued a lot, so I understand that, but that also pissed off a lot of people. But no, it's all of these great fan films that we knew and love were just gone. Luckily, a couple alpha chads did re-upload them, but regardless, not every video is gonna have that insurance. I mean, look what happened when Machinima got shut down. All those Halo Machinimas and other Machinima videos were just wiped, and only a handful got saved. But yeah, and then one by one, other channels started to get affected. SODAZ was approached, and while he didn't partner with them, he did delete his Warhammer stuff just in case he would. And then you had The Last Church, which they just had their video taken down. He didn't even partner with them, but it was just taken down, and it was such a shame because I loved that fan film. That's at least in my top 3 Warhammer fan films, and I showed it to my friends, and they loved it. And then the next day it got taken down, which is crazy. But, and then you had, AbsolutelyNothing. He was approached. He turned them down because of all the backlash, channels would get from joining them. And he was allowed to keep his videos, but they had to be demonetized, which, at least that I would be okay with, because, the videos still stay there, even though some of these creators do this for a living. But, I think the worst case of this was, SODAZ. While he was in talks with GW, he did get harassed a lot, people calling him a sellout and all that, even though, when you really think about it, these animators just want to make stuff for Warhammer because they love the series, and when GW approached them and said, hey, you can join us and make official canon work, I mean, for a fan, that's gotta be a dream come true. I mean, Astartes, the Space Marine chapter he chose for that fan film was a fan-made chapter, the Retributors, and when he got picked up, the Retributors became canon, and which is so cool. But no, when he got harassed, he turned down the offer, and he basically turned his back on Warhammer, which I don't blame him. And it's so unfortunate because it was a minority of the community. Most people loved his stuff, and were sad to see him, have that happen to him. In fact, I made a great tribute that you should check out of all of his work. But, at this point, it really brought a bad taste in people's mouths because, now it's oh, GW is basically having that mentality of join us or die. And people didn't like that. And I wish that was as bad as it got. With, because at least with all these current channels that were picked up, we still had new channels like AbsolutelyNothing, and I think his name is Janovick. He made his own Black Templar short, but we had all these new up and coming, the second generation or the new Avengers kind of team of animators making stuff. And at least we would have had them, and then we would have had Warhammer Plus with all these shows and stuff. It's not perfect, but it is still much better than what we get next, which was when GW released their new terms and policies. And, you had stuff like no 3D printed models or reprints or third-party models, no, reselling our brand. But the one that really hit people hard was basically when they decided, yeah, you're not allowed to make fan films anymore if it's not under our name. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to share my thoughts after I finish the context, but, talk about being given a golden ticket and then wiping your ass with it. Like, seriously. And yeah, this is the current timeline we're in, and, it's had such a drastic effect. So many of those potential new animators have either quitted or they've put their projects on hiatus until things change. Existing and beloved creators like I always forget to pronounce his name, but it's the guy who did text-to-speech. He decided to put his series on hiatus, and I watched his video, and it was hard to watch. The dude was, you could tell he was holding back tears. He had to reevaluate what he was going to do for a living, because, now that he can't make this parody series, and to be fair, this was his choice. GW didn't force him to, but because of the terms that GW established, it intimidated him enough to where it's like, if they come after me, obviously I don't have the funds and time for lawyers and stuff. I have a newborn son. I don't want to have to spend a large portion of my life and income to fight this. And it was a smarter choice to just find a new career path. But the fact that these new terms are pushing these creators to rethink their life plan, that sucks. And it was hard getting through that video. And look, I already made one tribute to a YouTuber who fell because of GW's bullshit. So I wasn't in the mood to make like a bunch of tributes. I was gonna make like a meme about the situation, but this is such a serious situation that I just had to tell this video, because now like the community is pissed. Like GW has always done stuff that's pissed off the community. They'll make like a new Space Marine model like every other week, but the Eldar race hasn't had a new model since Bill Clinton was U.S. president. Their prices are ridiculous. Heck, I've probably dropped about at least 1,000 or 2,000 on my two armies. You don't need to spend that much to play the game, but it's one of those games where it's like the more units you have and be able to like switch between, the funner it gets. But yeah, it's like $50 for like 5 models. It's like, it can get ridiculous. And then they disable their comments for all their videos, so it's so difficult for people to even, like, give them feedback, because it really does give this tone-depth personality. And I guess now this is a good chance for me to move on to thoughts. And yeah, my thoughts? This fucking sucks. I mean, I get it. GW wants to protect their IP. They technically own the rights, and obviously with them coming out with this new Warhammer Plus streaming service, they probably don't want any competition. Like, why would I spend, a monthly subscription on these animations when these animators are giving it to me for free? Which is kind of why I wasn't crazy about the whole subscription idea. I mean, it would have made more sense to just partner with people, re-upload their current videos maybe on the Warhammer YouTube page, and just, have their animations and the fans' animations. Because these animations were giving people, like, they were introducing new people to the hobby. Just like people like me, it's like you had all these YouTubers reacting to them, being more interested. Then they would look up, like, lore videos, like Major Kill or Bricky's Every Faction Explained video. Then they would really get into the lore and how deep and awesome it is. Then they would buy miniatures and paint. Like, they were literally giving GW free marketing, and GW just spat in the face of everyone. Like, all these people want to do is make animations and fan creations about how much they love your hobby, and you just basically told them they're not allowed to. And do you really think after doing that they're going to invest in Warhammer Plus? I was actually going to get it. I mean, you got exclusive models, you had all these cool shows, not including all the great animations. But now, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna pirate that. And that's such a shame, because, you had all these animators who partnered with them. This was their big break. They were gonna really make something from it. And now they're the ones who are probably gonna bite the crud. And GW is probably gonna take this, and the only thing they're gonna get out of it is, oh, people must not like animations and not invest more into it. Which is sad, because GW are the ones who screwed everyone over. And yeah, this has caused the community to want to boycott GW and everything Warhammer. I mean, heck, the Warhammer subreddit Grimdank, which I went to for Warhammer memes, basically full-on rebranded itself as now like a Battletech meme channel, which, you know, I like mechs and all, but I don't really care for Battletech, and I don't feel like getting into the lore for a new deep series. I mean, like I said, it took me 3 years to get into Warhammer and understand everything, so yeah, I don't have that mental, like, energy to get into another massive series right now. But, you know, people don't want to buy the models, people are disliking all the videos, and yeah, people are pissed. I was myself going to get that new Battle Sector game, and you know, but now I'm probably not going to get any more models. My Death Watch Combat Patrol box set came in during this controversy. You know, it came out with models like these, and I'll probably show pictures if you can't see them. But yeah, those are probably the last couple models I'm going to buy. And yeah, this sucks too, because the Black Templars just got a new like announcement that they're finally getting something new after like 2nd edition, which if you don't know, we're currently in 9th edition, so that says a lot. But you know, I was so excited. I was about to give GW all my money. But even that, I can't get excited for it anymore because of, I think about all these creators got screwed over. I think about, like, you know, how they have to basically stop doing what they've been doing for years and what they love. And it's like, I don't want to support a company who does that. And again, I get it. GW wants to protect their IP. You know, I think the best analogy, it's like when you were little and you went over to your friend's house and they had all these cool toys like Transformers or G.I. Joe. And it's like, technically, because they bought those toys or they own those toys, they have the right to use them as they wish. So if they don't want to share their toys with you, you know, they have every like legality right. But there's a difference between having the right to do something and whether or not you should do something. And you know, it's like, yeah, you know, they might not want to share their toys with you, but they would be kind of an asshole friend if they did that. Like if you and your friends were like in your backyard and you owned a soccer ball and all your friends are like, hey, let's play soccer. And you're like, no, this is my soccer ball, so only I get to play with it. You have every right to do that, but it makes you kind of an asshole. And that's kind of what GW's doing. It's like they're literally strangleholding their own IP. It's like, what next? You know, that's the scariest part though. It's like, you know, they've already pretty much ruined all fan animations. So what's the next thing? It's like, you know, their Warhammer Plus, it also has a lore show and a tabletop like battle report show. So are they going to go after other lore channels like Adeptus Ridiculous or Major Kill? Are they going to go after other battle report channels like Play on Tabletop or Mini Wargaming? It's like, it's so scary to think. And it's like, you know, that has to be the shittiest thing I've ever heard of for a company. Like, you know, we always roast other companies like EA or Activision. But, you know, most of the stuff we roast them for is stuff, you know, they didn't want the community to know, or we just didn't like stuff they were doing. But they are still trying their best to sell a product. And, you know, that's the thing. People make fan animations for other stuff. Like Star Wars, people make a bunch of stuff for that. And besides for the one time with Star Wars Theory, you know, Disney hasn't really cracked down a lot on people making fan animation for Star Wars because it's free marketing. The last thing a company wants to do is silence people who are promoting your product. You know, like if someone makes a Clone Wars animation, that might get people into Star Wars and then they'll want to watch like Clone Wars or The Bad Batch. You know, it's so stupid to think of, you know, we want to silence these people who are literally selling our product for us. I mean, you would think GW would love that because you pay ridiculous amount of money for these models and you still have people building them and painting them themselves. So maybe they're just jealous because they made an Ultramarines movie and it looks like, you know, total crap and no one really got into Warhammer because of that thing. But in all seriousness, it's like, now we're at that point where it's like, do I abandon the hobby that's made me happy these last 3 years? Like, I haven't felt this happy about a hobby since, like, the Halo 3 days back in 2007, or when I was really into Star Wars as a kid. Like, that's how much I love this series. But, you know, as far as what I'm going to do, this is my plan. Obviously, from here on out, I'm not buying anything from GW for at least a year. Let's see how things work out. See how, like, much the community really still, like, is for this whole boycott, or if it just, like, fades into obscurity within, like, a month. I'm not going to just abandon the series. I still love, like, the hobby, the lore, the tabletop. I have plenty of models to still paint, so I can just paint all those. And I'll still play games with my friends and stuff. In fact, I might even buy some third-party models. You know, they were kind of a pain to, what's called, build and stuff compared to the GW one, so I wasn't going to do that. But now that GW is pulling this shit, maybe I will. Woohoo! Controversy. But in all seriousness, you know, I'm not going to get Battle Sector because, you know, that's probably going to go into GW's pocket too. I still have to play Mechanicus that I got, like, last year. So, again, with the games, I still have Mechanicus. I've really been getting into Space Marines, so I'll probably play that too. And yeah, I'm still going to, like, watch, like, YouTubers' Warhammer content and support them. Because, again, I don't mind the hobby itself. I love this hobby. But it's just, you know, the only way you're going to get GW to listen is not through, like, rants on, like, Twitter or Reddit, but you gotta hit them in their pocket, you know? Just, you know. But at the same time, before I end this video, I want to go into one last thing, and that's to clarify, you know, this is a high-level decision that GW did. You know, this is like their legal team, their executives, so don't just go to your local GW store and attack, like, these people who work for GW but don't have any say in this. Because I'm sure they are the real, like, people who love Warhammer and, you know, are probably hating this too. And it's like, don't attack the janitor of Games Workshop and think you did something, because you're not. Also, if someone still wants to get into the hobby and buy miniatures, like, yeah, it doesn't help this whole boycott, but don't go harassing them either, you know? This is still a hobby and we're still a community. And we don't want to have to tear ourselves apart just to teach GW a lesson. So if someone buys, like, a box of Space Marines because they want to get into the hobby, that's their choice, all right? You're allowed to protest and you're allowed to not buy stuff, but don't go telling other people what to do with their money, all right? I mean, again, like, I get it, kinda, because it doesn't help matters, but, you know, people are allowed to do whatever. So, you know, don't be a dick, is basically what I'm saying. But, yeah, that just about covers it. You know, again, I'm not a drama channel. I don't like to do all this, like, drama stuff. But, you know, I just had to really talk about this. During the time that GW was picking up YouTubers and, you know, they were deleting videos off their channel, I was going to make a video like this. But I felt like Chapter Master Valric and Major Kill and other people, they already did a pretty good job of covering it. So I thought, all right, I'm going to let these guys take the wheel and I'm going to sit this one out. But now it's gotten to the point where pretty much any YouTuber with a voice is trying to make their voices heard so that GW can kind of go back on this. And now I feel like I kind of have to too. As far as content for the channel, I'm probably not going to make Warhammer memes for at least a little while. You know, again, like, it's hard to just get excited for, like, new Warhammer models or games or making videos because I'm constantly reminded about this. Heck, I can't even get Warhammer memes anymore because Grim Dank, like, rebranded itself. So I'm out on fan films and memes. So just kind of a dark spot for the community, or a dark time. And it's kind of sad that the golden age is over because it was really great, you know? Like, everyone was becoming a Warhammer fan, and Warhammer might become, or it was going to be, like, borderline mainstream. And now this could push it not only back into obscurity, but this could flat out kill the series. And it's a shame because it's kind of like with EA and Titanfall. Like, I love Titanfall, but I hate EA. But EA owns the rights to Titanfall, so they can choose whether that series lives or dies. So, you know, and that's kind of the same thing with GW, where it's like, you know, if people don't buy stuff from them for too long, then Warhammer could maybe not be profitable. But realistically, what will probably happen is, you know, GW is probably going to, like, stop thinking about animations because Warhammer Plus is probably going to bomb. They're going to go back to making overpriced models. They'll probably release some big model that gets half the people boycotting to kind of relapse and go back into their hands, and you know, GW is gonna probably be fine. The animators are gonna get screwed, and yeah, you know, that kind of sucks. But that's my thoughts. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you guys next time when I do a video essay on the Halo Infinite flight, which, trust me, that video is gonna be a lot more positive. Take care, everyone.